Welcome to Dory Cote on Shamanism, a weekly podcast that explores one theme in shamanism throughout each month. Get comfortable, have a seat, and let's get started.
Welcome to my podcast. This is Dory Cote, and I'm going to be speaking with you in a question and answer format over the next 4 podcasts on the topic of omens. We'll be exploring omens in nature, omens in dreams, omens that appear to you at home, and omens that you might experience when traveling. I've invited someone to participate with me in questions and answers, and so with this, we will begin.
Dory, could you tell us what an omen is?
Absolutely. An omen is generally understood in modern shamanism to be a sign or a symbol or some kind of an image that appears sometimes unexpectedly or at other times on request that is to be interpreted in a variety of different ways. So unlike hearing a voice or experience something within a journey or a meditation, an omen is something that is seen either with the human eyes or with what we call our inner eye or third eye that is speaking to us with a message.
How can I tell if something is an omen? When I meet my power animal on a journey for the first time, it appears at least 3 times. Are there any guidelines similar to that for omens?
Well, that's a great question. Generally, from a shamanic perspective, one would expect that if you see an omen frequently, then there is a really important sign or message coming to you that you need to pay attention to. For instance, let's say that you just have had, a disagreement with your sister, and you go for a walk on the beach and you see a heartstone in the sand. And one would think, oh, the heartstone, yes, I need to be thinking about my heart connection, the love connection. And then, you walk for a while, you go back to your car, and as you're getting into your car, there's a leaf on the ground that has a heart shape embedded in it. There's the second heart shape. And then you get home and you get out of your car, and there at your feet again is another stone or other object in nature that is in the shape of a heart. There's clearly a huge message there that you are being called to work with around the issue with your sister. It isn't necessarily that you might see an omen numerous times and that's the only time you would want to pay attention to it, but certainly if it appears frequently, then that warrants a definite heightened sense of awareness and attention.
An omen can have more than one shape. It can have more than one image.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Omens can appear in the natural world in a variety of ways. Again, using the heart as a potential omen. Let's say you're walking out in the woods and you pause for a moment and lean against a tree and you look up, and there in the bark is like a natural image of a heart that has been formed by moisture or moss or some other aspect like that, and it really gets your attention that there's a heart there. An omen can take on any kind of form. You might look at a flower, look at the center of a flower and see in a particular flower that there's a heart shape there. Or you might watch the travel of a bee that is buzzing around you and realize that it's creating the shape of a heart as it buzzes around you. It can come in so many different forms that one can't potentially name them all. It's so much, particularly omens in nature, it's so much about opening our awareness and being fully present to what is happening in the natural world and being in a reciprocating relationship with nature so that we are, we're showing up with an open heart, speaking of the heart, and also with respect and honor for the ways that the spirits in nature are showing up for us to guide us, to protect us, to give us messages, and be helpful about anything in our lives, whether it's something that we have a question for in our minds, or sometimes the appearance of omens cause us to stop and ask questions. For instance, if I did that same walk that we were just talking about a moment ago, and I didn't go with a question in my mind, I don't have a problem with my sister, but I go for a walk on the beach because it's a lovely day and that's what I feel like doing. And I find a heartstone on the beach, and then I see a leaf on the ground when I get in the car that has the shape of a heart embedded in it. And then I find another object in nature sometime later that day or maybe even the next day. That would cause me to stop and reflect on, why am I getting all these heart images? What is the message that nature is getting my attention around? What do I need to do about that? That might take me then to say, oh, it's time for me to stop and do a journey on this. What is it? What is the message that is coming to me from the spirits of nature that I need to be paying attention to?
So it is nature spirit who are the originators of the omens?
Well, when we speak about omens in nature, I would say that would be absolutely true, that the natural world and the spirits of the natural world are cooperating with us and partnering with us truly in a way to help us to see and experience what it is we need to know at any given moment. So, it could be the spirit of a rock. Some people have a hard time believing that a rock could possibly have a spirit, but of course it does. It's one of the oldest forces of nature. The rocks have been here since the earth was formed. So they have life. They have a life force, and they can speak to us through imagery, through symbology. And the same is true for, a gathering of sticks. There might be an image in a gathering of sticks. There might be an image in the way the grass has been blown by the wind. So it's elemental as the spirits of the elements as well as the spirits of the natural world, including the clouds and so many other spirits that we could go on naming for a very long time in this recording.
In nature, one of my power animals is a turtle. If it were to appear in real time in middle world reality, how would I differentiate between a message from my power animal and an omen?
Well, if I were to see my power animal in the natural world, in actual middle world reality, as you say, then I would, from a shamanic perspective, interpret that as an appearance of my power animal and not necessarily an omen. Unless my power animal appears and is carrying something in its mouth or in its beak or in its paws and is delivering an omen of some kind to me. So let's say, for instance, again, speaking of your power animal, if it's a turtle, and you see a turtle crossing the road on a drive home, and you stop to help the turtle get out of the middle of the road, and you see that the turtle has a stick in its mouth, and the stick has a very distinct fork in it. There's like two sticks going in two different directions. That's kind of curious. So your power animal is carrying an omen, and there might be some message related to that. However, if you just see a turtle, then I would say, oh, thank you, power animal. Thank you for showing up here in ordinary or middle world reality for me. And I'm so delighted to see you with my human eyes and embrace you, and I will pay attention to any messages that might be coming from you as I venture through the rest of this day or this week or the next few hours or whatever feels right to you.
You mentioned in the beginning that sometimes omens appear on request. So how do we invite omens? How do we work with omens? And how do we honor them?
Working with omens, particularly in nature, and requesting omens to come to us is a really powerful way of communicating with the spirits that are in the natural world by just stepping outside of our door. Say, for instance, that you're struggling with a decision about whether to move from where you currently live to some new location, whether it's down the street or in another country. And so you go outside and you're holding in your heart that you would really like some guidance from the spirits of nature about what is in your highest good, moving to this new location or perhaps staying here where you are. And as you move about, and you don't have to move very far, maybe you're just working out in your own flower garden, or perhaps you go for a walk on a nearby forested trail, or you go for a walk on the beach. You have this question in your heart. You don't have to speak it out loud. Just have it in your heart, because the spirits of nature know how to read your heart. And now you begin to pay attention to what imagery appears to you from literally, quote, out of the blue. You begin to see images or patterns, or the way the breeze is blowing is doing something with the sand on the beach. It's blowing it in a particular direction, or it's whirling it around, and it's depositing it someplace in an eastward direction. And, the direction that you would be moving to, if you were to move, would be in an easterly direction. Well, one might think, the spirits of nature are definitely leading me. They're showing me the wind blowing in an easterly direction and blowing the sand with it. That could be one omen. There might be omens that you see. I often see omens, when I'm driving in my car, which I don't advise because it can be a serious distraction and sometimes impedes by my good driving. But, sometimes I could be driving down the street and have a question in my heart, and I see something, there's a form in the woods, and it looks like there's a deer standing right there. And in fact, there is no deer in ordinary reality, but there is the form of some animal or some being or some symbol that is being created by the way the trees are shaped and the way the branches hang. And that's an omen, even though what I think I'm seeing is an animal is really not an animal. It's the shape of an animal that's being created by the nature spirits to get my attention. So the key is that if you have something that you're struggling with, or you have a question in your heart, or you have some problem or issue, you can solicit the direction and the guidance and the advice of the spirits of nature by simply going out and being really open to seeing and experiencing how they are responding to you, and then taking that information and being with it for some time to understand how to best interpret what it is you're being shown.
Thank you for these answers. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I would like to say that a lot of people, I believe, in these current times have the misunderstanding that an omen is a negative. It has negativity attached to it, that it's ominous, that it's related to, I saw this omen, so, I saw a crow and maybe that means somebody's going to die, or they interpret things with a very negative spin. The truth is that is old beliefs from ancient times, but it is in no way the perspective of the shamanic practitioner who understands that spirits are speaking to us in lovely, very broad kinds of ways and are open with their love and their desire to be helpful and not to overwhelm us with negative connotations to things. So, for instance, somebody I know not that long ago, her car broke down and she pulled over to the side of the road, and there on the side of the road happened to be a dead crow. And her immediate sense was, oh my, this has got to be bad. My car broke down and I saw a dead crow. My interpretation would be, my car broke down and the spirit of crow has appeared to me, has perhaps given its life for me to see that I can caw, I can make a lot of noise, I can pick up my phone, I can fly around and be seen here in my broken down car on the side of the road so that somebody will pay attention to the fact that I need some help. Not that the crow and, my dead car and the dead crow means something ominous, but rather that the crow has come to be a helper. Not that there isn't negativity in the world, but it is really important to understand that the spirits of nature are 99% of the time speaking to us in very helpful, loving ways and not in frightening ways.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for listening to Dory Cote on Shamanism. We'd love to hear your thoughts, stories, reactions, and questions. Come on over to dorycote.com and join the conversation. And tune in next week for more on this subject, or next month for a new subject. You can subscribe to this podcast in iTunes or sign up on dorycote.com to receive notices when the podcasts are posted. That's Dory, D-O-R-Y, and Cote, C-O-T-E.com. Drumming and rattling by Dory Cote and Terry Morgan. Technical assistance and audio production by JillHackett.com. And this is Susan Savelle, wishing you many blessings in your life. We hope to have you join us next time.